she. Welcome, gentle soul, and settle in. Take a deep breath. Let the day melt away. You're safe now. This is your time to rest. Feel the softness of your bed beneath you, the warmth of your blanket wrapped around you like a gentle embrace. Notice the quiet hush around you. And now, take another slow, deep breath. In through your nose, and out through your mouth, effortlessly. Gently, just like the wind drifting across the hills and fall. That's it. Just feel your chest rise, like the rhythm of distant waves, or the breath of the earth herself. Let your shoulders drop, your hands soften, gently, melting, your jaw loosen, even the small muscles around your eyes, relaxing, just enough. There is nothing you need to do, no thoughts to chase, only stillness, only calm. And now, as your body continues to sink deeper, far away, let your mind open to welcome a story. It's okay to drift while listening. To lose yourself in the sound and the spaces between was no ordinary fortress, because our story tonight begins far, high atop a lonely cliff, where the sea mists curl like breath from ancient lips, and the wind weaves lullabies through the stone. There stood a castle, but there's no battlements cracked with war, no drawbridge pulled tight with fear. This castle breathed. Yes, it breathed. Its walls carved thick from mountain rock, held within them a network of hidden corridors, spiral staircases that turned like seashells, and secret chambers with archways that curved silver silk pulling through the air, just so that when the wind came dancing in from the sea, it would hum. If you quiet your mind and sigh and whisper through the halls like a ghostly lullaby, even now you can almost hear it, sigh, like soft, from stone to stone, chamber to chamber, a castle exhaling. They called it, though some called it the listening keep, and others simply whispered, the castle that breathed. Its towers stretched like fingers into the gray sky, its windows narrow as slitted eyes, and the ivy that curled along its sides was said to shiver, even when the air was still. But no one feared it, not truly, not even the villagers who lived in the vale below, for they believed quietly, reverently, that the castle's breath was sacred, a gift, a message, a voice from the ones who came before. You see, long ago, a line of noble lords ruled quiet folk, bookish, gentle, but deeply attuned to the winds. They believed that the wind was more than just air and motion. They believed it carried voices, echoes of their ancestors, and so they built Thornavale not just as a home, but as a listening place. They worked with stonemasons from distant lands, whispering architects and monks from forgotten orders, to carve the halls just right, whispering galleries, where even a single breath could carry from one side to another, round corridors where murmurs would spiral like smoke, and beneath the castle, a vaulted chamber, known as the Breath Hall. It was there, beneath a dome shaped like an open palm, that the wind would collect, and the lords would sit, wrapped in wool cloaks, candles flickering, eyes closed, and simply listen. Some nights, the winds were quiet. Others, they were playful, fluttering tapestries and teasing hair. But once in a while, only on the coldest nights, the wind would speak, a low, humming murmur. Sometimes like a name, sometimes like a warning, sometimes just a sigh. And those who heard it swore they felt something ancient stir within them, like a memory not quite their own, or a dream passed down like a keepsake. It was said that Lord Elric, the last Lord of Thornavale, could interpret the winds. He would wake before dawn, walk the ramparts, barefoot, and tilt his head just so, as if in conversation with the sky. The servants left bread and tea by his study door, and he would write in thick leather journals, pages and pages of wind-born dreams. Some said he was mad, others called him a seer. But no one dared interrupt him. For in the village below, the harvests grew stronger. The storms passed gentler, and the children slept soundly through the night. They believed the castle watched over them, that it breathed peace into their dreams. Tonight, as you rest beneath your blankets, perhaps you, too, can imagine the feeling of a candle flickering low, a fire crackling in a stone hearth nearby, the scent of cedarwood and parchment lingering in the air, and far above, beyond the tower window, the breath of wind, circling, returning, calling you softly to listen, to drift, to dream, to remember. Let your eyes grow heavier. You don't need to open them now. You can just listen. Let each word be softer than the last. Let every breath slow you down a little more. Each sound like the tide drawing away from shore, leaving stillness behind. As the world becomes quieter, you find yourself once again at the edge of that windswept cliff. And there, standing tall against the dusky sky, is the castle of sighs, the castle that breathes. Tonight, we travel inside, past the worn wooden gates, under the heavy stone archway, where lanterns swing gently from iron hooks, and the light spills like golden honey on the flagstone floor. The air is cool here, but not unkind. It brushes your cheeks like a lullaby, carries the scent of old books, dry herbs, and something else, a feeling of being remembered, as though someone had been waiting for you long before you arrived. Your footsteps echo gently, soft as whispers, down the long, vaulted hall. Tapestries line the walls, each one old but well-kept, depicting stars, trees, swirling winds, and figures cloaked in midnight blue, their hands raised to the sky. You pause before one and feel as though it's watching you back, not with eyes, but with memory. Somehow, this place knows you, knows something deep inside of you that even you may have forgotten. Ahead, a great spiral staircase waits, worn smooth from centuries of use. Its steps curve gently upwards, winding like a strand of smoke toward the high tower. You begin to climb, each step soft and effortless, as if the castle itself were lifting you. And all around you, the wind begins to hum again. First, a low note, like the purr of a distant storm, then a rising tone, like flutes in the far-off hills. It travels through the stone, as if the walls themselves had lungs. You pause halfway and rest your hand on the cool stone. It's vibrating, just faintly, breathing in, breathing out, and for a moment, you breathe with it, perfectly in sync, as though you are part of the castle, and a part of you. At the top of the staircase, a thick oak door stands slightly ajar. You push it open. Slowly, it creaks just a little, and beyond it, a warm, quiet chamber, lit by the amber glow of a fire. This is the listening room. Soft rugs cover the floor like moss, and haback chairs sit close to the hearth. Waiting here, the walls are curved, shaped to hold sound, to carry it in gentle arcs. You walk across the room and lower yourself into a chair. The cushion gives way beneath you, welcoming you. The fire crackles softly, sending tiny sparks upward like stars being born. And behind you, the wind curls through the tower window, just as it did all those years ago, when Lord Elric sat here, night after night, waiting, listening. They say Elric once heard the name of his great-great-grandmother, carried on the wind, a woman he'd never met, a healer, lost to time. But that night, as he sat in this very chair, the wind gathered in the chamber and whispered her name, Selene, like a lullaby. And with it came memories not his own, of herbs and heart, of laughter in stone kitchens, of lullabies sung to sleeping children. He had written of it in his journal, the one bound in blue leather, and he'd sworn that the castle remembered. that it pass its memories, like breath, to those willing to listen. Now, it is your turn. Lean back into the chair. Feel it support you. Warm, safe. Let your body become still. Let the fire's glow soften your thoughts. Let the wind's hum cradle your ears. Breathe in and out. Slowly, softly. Let the castle breathe through you. And listen. Do you hear it? A soft sigh. Like someone exhaling just beyond the veil of time. A whisper winding through the stone. Not quite words, but feelings. Curled in the breath of air. Memories. Just for you. You don't need to understand them. Just receive them. Let them wash over you. Like waves smoothing the shore. Feel them brushing your thoughts. Guiding them downward into sleep. In the stories told by firelight, they say Thornvale was more than a home. It was a keeper of songs never sung, of names almost forgotten, of dreams once dreamt by those long gone. And now, it welcomes your dreams too. So sleep now. Let your thoughts slow. Let the winds of Thornvale carry you inward, deeper still, soft, into a place where the past and present sigh together, and everything is calm. You're doing so well. The world outside can wait. Right now, you're safe. Right now, you're drifting, held gently between the warmth of the fire and the hush of wind whispering through stone. Let yourself sink deeper, as if you are no longer sitting in that chair, but floating, cradled by the walls of, like a feather caught in the gentlest breeze. Just breathe with me, in and out, slowly, quietly. Let the rhythm of the castle carry you. Outside the tower, speckled with stars, the sky has grown darker, a deep violet, the kind of stars that only appear when the world is quiet enough to notice. The sea murmurs to the cliffs, far below, waves rolling like lullabies, spoken in another language. And in the air, the wind shifts again, carrying something new. You can almost hear it. Hollow sound, can't you? A soft, far off, like someone singing from deep within the walls, taking on shape. But this is no ordinary song. It's the castle's breath, taking on story. Long ago, before even the first stones were laid, there was a wind that danced through the valley. People who lived in the forests and hills untamed, wild, yet longing for a place to belong. They could hear it whisper through the trees, calling names that hadn't yet been born, telling stories of things that hadn't yet happened. And so they listened. They lit fires and sat in circles. They spoke with reverence to the wind, as though it were a wise old tree carrying stories across the sky. They believed that every soul, when it left the body, rode the wind, not just to be carried away, but to be remembered. And so, when the first builders of Thornvale came, with chisels and stone and hope, they shaped the castle not just with their hands, but with their hearts. They carved the spiral staircases to echo like seashells. They crafted the halls to catch sound as a cupped hand catches rain. And they left spaces in the walls, just wide enough for the wind to pass through, because they knew the wind would return. It always does. Now, as you rest, still and safe, you may begin to feel that the wind is not outside of you, but within you, a soft hum just beneath your heartbeat, a memory stirring, and you wonder, have you been here before? Not in this life perhaps, but in another. Did your spirit once ride the winds, whispering through these same halls? Did you once sit by this same fire, holding a candle to the dusk, listening for a name? You close your eyes again, and for a moment, you feel the room breathe with you. The flames dance with your breath. The stone sighs with your chest. The wind hums to the rhythm of your thoughts. And you realize you are not alone. Not really. Every breath you take, every moment of stillness is shared with those who came before. Not ghosts, Not shadows, but memories, songs, echoes, kind, quiet echoes, carried on the wind, and as your mind sinks lower, drifting into the softest folds of sleep, you see something. In the firelight, a vision begins to form. Not a dream, but a remembering. A young girl, wrapped in a deep green cloak, walking the outer wall of the castle, her lantern swinging gently in the dark. She hums as she walks, a melody old as the stones beneath her feet. She is not afraid. The night is her companion, and the wind, her guide. She stops at a broken turret where the wall has crumbled slightly, and kneels beside the stone. There, she places a small feather. Nothing more, just a white feather, soft as a breath. She closes her eyes and whispers a name into the night. You do not hear the name, but you feel the shape of it. Warm, beloved, or the wind picks up for a moment, as if to answer her, and then the girl rises, wraps her cloak tighter, and walks back into the castle. You are not sure if she was real, or if she was a memory shared by the castle. Perhaps it doesn't matter, because in this place, real and remembered are one and the same. The wind has carried her story to you, and now you carry it too. So rest, dear listener. Let the soft hush of the night wrap around you. Let the story slow your thoughts. Like mist settling over the cliffs, the wind will keep watch. The castle will hold your dreams, and somewhere deep inside these walls, a breath is waiting, just for you. There you are, drifting. Again, the fire is still crackling beside you. Warm, steady, soft. The wind still moves through the tower window. A hush, like a lullaby from the stars themselves. You've gone deeper now, and you can feel it, can't you? How the story wraps itself around you like a blanket, not to pull you in, but to let you fall, softly, into quiet, into comfort, into sleep. Let your body be heavy, as if it's part of the castle floor now. Solid, supported, safe. And your mind, let it be light, floating like a leaf in the corridors of the air. Now, the castle remembers something else. Another breath, another voice carried in the wind. This one, older than any living soul. It begins not in the tower, but deep, deep below the castle, down through secret passages, past doors that haven't opened in centuries, where the torchlight fades and the air is cool and still, down to the breath hall. The chamber lies at the heart of Thorneville, cut into the rock by hand. Every inch made to listen. The walls are curved and domed, like the inside of a great bell. Voices do not echo here. They linger. Even a sigh can remain for hours. And if you listen closely, truly listen, you may hear what came before. Once, this chamber was lit by hundreds of candles. Each flame meant to represent a name. Each breath of air was sacred. Each gust of wind, a message. The lords and their kin would gather in silence, wrapped in woolen cloaks, eyes closed, hearts open, and together they would breathe. In, out, in, out. Not to speak, but to receive, to welcome what the wind brought, to honor what it remembered. Tonight, you are invited in. The stone door creaks open just enough for you to slip through. And when you do, you are surrounded by silence. The kind of silence that feels alive. Not empty. Not alone. But full of waiting. Full of breath. You sit on the stone bench in the center of the hall. The air around you is still. But it's listening. Even your smallest breath feels like a note in a grand old song. And then it comes. A wind, soft and steady, moves through a narrow slit high in the wall. It turns, curls, folds upon itself, until it becomes sound. Not words, not exactly, but impressions, feelings. A hand brushing across your shoulder, a fire shared between generations, a lullaby hummed by someone you never met, and yet somehow remember. The breath of the wind brings them to you. You sit in stillness, letting them move through you, and in that moment, you become the listener. You become the keeper. You realize now, that's what this place is for. Not to hold treasure, not to display power, not even to protect, but to remember and to give rest to those who wander. The wind carries another memory now. This one, slower, softer, a story within a story. It tells of a child born within the castle walls, a child who, from the moment she could walk, would follow the sound of the wind like a thread. She called it her sky music, and every time it passed through the corridors, she'd press her ear to the stone and listen for hours. Sometimes she'd laugh, sometimes cry, but always, always listen. One day, she followed the wind so far, she found a door no one else had seen, a hidden chamber filled with carvings, wind symbols etched into the stone like songs frozen in time. She traced them with her fingers, and they lit up faintly, as if the castle itself was humming back to her. They say she never told anyone what she heard in that room. Not with words, but her voice, when she sang, carried something older than time. And you can feel it now, can't you? That same wind moving around you, through you, brushing the edges of your thoughts. You don't need to understand it. You only need to trust it. Let it carry you now. Let it guide you into the deepest, most restful part of sleep. Let it smooth the corners of your mind. Let it turn every thought into a feather, and every feather a breath, and every breath so sleep as the wind moves through the halls of Thornavale, as the fire softens to embers. Sleep as the castle remembers and welcomes you. Let your breath be slower now. Let your thoughts be gentler. Let the hush settle deeper in your chest, a silence that holds you without needing anything from you. You've drifted into the quiet core of the story, where time doesn't tick, it glides. You are surrounded now by memory and stone and the soft, patient voice of the wind. This is where the castle keeps its dreams, where stories fall asleep so they may awaken again. In you. Tonight, the castle remembers a man, a quiet one, older than the towers, it seemed. Though his body had barely begun to gray, he came from far away, wearing a coat sewn from many colors, carrying only a flute and a folded map, drawn in a language no one could read. The villagers did not know his name, but the wind did, and when he arrived at Thornavale, the gates opened for him. He walked the halls without fear, each step a conversation with the stone. And when he found the breath hall, he smiled, as if recognizing an old friend. He sat, just as you are sitting now, and let the wind find him. He didn't ask questions. He didn't search for answers. He simply played. The sound of his flute wove with the breath of the castle. Notes spun through spiral staircases, danced down corridors, echoed up the great chimneys like birds flying home. Some say the song had no beginning and no end. It simply was. One evening, as twilight fell, he stood in the center of the courtyard and played a final melody, soft, slow, like a farewell. The castle grew still. Even the fire and the torches seemed to lean in, listening. When it was done, he bowed to the wind itself and disappeared into the mist. No one saw him leave, but they still hear his song, in the sigh of the doors, in the hum of the floorboards, in the hush before sleep. Perhaps you have heard it too. Perhaps it lives in you. So breathe now. Let the music of silence fill you. No notes, no flute, just the wind and the stillness it leaves behind. This is the kind of quiet that heals, the kind that forgets your name, so it may whisper it back, even softer. Now, there is another memory coming through the corridor. You feel it, like a warm breeze across your cheek. Gentle, kind, curious. It carries the scent of pine needles and rain-damp moss. The memory of forests that once stood, where Thornavale now sleeps. And in this memory, a woman walks alone at night. She wears a cloak of velvet, dark as the sky before a storm, and in her hand, she carries a glass orb filled with swirling fog. She moves without fear, her footsteps confident and soft, as though she walks beside something invisible. She is a keeper, one of the few allowed to hear the secret winds that come only in moonlight. She enters the breath hall, just as you did, and places the orb on a small stone pedestal. Then she waits. A long, slow breath moves through the chamber, the kind that takes minutes to arrive and longer still to leave. And inside the orb, the fog stirs, shapes, form, not faces, not exactly, but moments. A child learning to write by candlelight, a mother singing to herself while stirring soup, a hand reaching for another in the dark. The wind gives her these things, not to keep, but to hold, just long enough to remember. And then she breathes out, softly, lovingly, back into the wind, returning the memory, so it may travel on. That is the secret of the castle. It does not trap stories, it shares them, holds them gently, then lets them go, like dandelion, seeds on the air, like sighs in the night, like dreams given to the wind. And so now, dear dreamer, you can let go to whatever thought still lingers. Let it be carried away. Whatever tension clings to your brow, let it drift loose on the breath of the castle. You do not need to hold anything. Not right now. You are part of the story now. Part of the walls, the wind, the hush. So let sleep come, quietly, kindly, with the soft rhythm of your breath. Inhale, and the castle sighs. Exhale, and the story sleeps. The wind is still moving, even as you rest, even as your body grows softer and heavier, and your thoughts dissolve like mist. The wind continues its gentle wandering, a story like still being written, a lullaby still being sung. You are no longer just a visitor in Thornavale. You are part of its hush. The castle dreams of its oldest tower, part of its memory, and part of its dreaming. Tonight, the first stone ever placed, the heart around which all else grew. This tower is narrow, carved deep into the side of the cliff, far below. From its highest window, can see respectful the waves. You crashing far, but it is quiet here. So quiet. Even the waves feel softened. The walls are lined with tiny holes. Inside, barely visible to the eye, each one a voice, waiting, listened, they say. This was once the tower of the wind reader, not a seer, by the gentle sound of wind, but a child, born without sight. Her name was Liace, and though she could not see the world, she could hear it. She would sit in the tower for hours, surrounded, passing through the stone, sheer with every part of herself. Not just her ears, but her breath, her heartbeat, her skin. She said the wind had layers, and that if you listened deeply enough, you could hear. The past. Lise never wrote her words. She only spoke them into the air. But the castle remembered. And sometimes, if the night is quiet enough, and the wind passes through just right, you can still hear her voice. Tiny, clear, like silver thread. The wind knows your name. It remembers your laughter. You are not forgotten. You may wonder why the wind would keep these things. Laughter, names, moments. But perhaps that is all we are. In the end, a collection of moments soft enough to be carried. And the castle, with its spiral staircases and hollow walls, is simply the cup that catches them, holds them, and passes them on. And now, the castle breathes through you again. It exhales into your chest, a slow, tender wind, moving through the corridors of your thoughts, and you feel lighter, quieter, almost translucent. You do not need to sleep. Sleep is already here, wrapped around your shoulders like a cloak, woven from fog. Let yourself drift, deeper still. With each word, with each pause, you fall further into that soft place where the world slows down, where the wind hums lullabies, and memories curl like smoke above candlelight. Outside, the moon has risen high above Thornaval, a silver coin resting in a bowl of ink. Its light filters through the narrow windows and lands softly across the stone floors. Somewhere in the castle, a door creaks open, not from age, but invitation, and from it, another whisper floats through the hallways, a memory, not of a person, but a sound. The laughter of water trickling through the garden fountain, the rustle of leaves shivering in the morning mist, the far-off bleating of a lamb. In springtime, these memories come not from the wind itself, but from the walls. The very stones of the castle are alive with listening. They have heard every footstep, every secret, every heartbeat, including yours, and they are grateful. Grateful for your stillness, grateful for your presence, grateful for your breath, because by simply resting here, by listening, you honor them. You keep the memory of breath and wind and wonder alive. So rest now. Feel the quiet settle like snow. Feel your limbs grow heavier, your thoughts fewer, your breath deeper. The castle is here. The wind is here. And you are held. There's nowhere you need to go. Nothing you need to do. Only this moment. Only this breath. And with each breath, the castle sighs through you. Inhale. Exhale. Stone. Wind. Dream. You're doing beautifully. So still now. So quiet. Each breath you take melts you further into the castle, into the hush of the stones and the sighing of the wind. You may feel as if you are no longer just lying in your bed, but resting beneath ancient beams, with soft candlelight flickering across the walls. Perhaps you feel the cool stone at your back, or the weight of a woolen blanket pulled gently up to your chin. You are in the castle. You are the castle. And the wind moves through you, like a lullaby, sung only for you. Let's wander now, to another place within Thornavale, a hidden garden, tucked inside the keep, shielded from the wind, yet open to the sky. There, moonlight spills across old stone benches, and ivy climbs in silent celebration over carved arches. The air here smells of lavender and moss. Rainwater still clings to the petals of sleeping roses. A fountain trickles softly. It sounds slow and steady, like the castle's heartbeat. You step barefoot across two damp stone. The coolness is soothing, so real, so calm. You sit by the fountain and listen, not to words, but to presence. The garden remembers too. Its soil has felt the footsteps of generations. Children running with laughter, old souls walking in silence, lovers, seekers, dreamers, all of them pass through here. And the garden has kept their joy, not like a cage, but like a song you hum, because it once made you smile. There's a tree in the center of the garden, an ancient thing, its trunk twisted like braided silk, its leaves whispering, even when there is no wind. The castle calls it the memory tree. They say its roots reach down to the lowest chamber of the breath hall, and its branches stretch to catch the stories written in stars. Some believe that if you sit quietly beneath it, the wind will bring you a memory that was meant just for you, not from your past, but from the castle's. Would you like to sit with it now? Good. You walk to the base of the tree and lean against its trunk. The bark is warm, alive. You rest your head and close your eyes. The wind shifts, soft as silk, and then the memory comes. You are standing in a great hall, lit by hundreds of beeswaxed candles. Their golden light flickers across banners and beams. It smells like honey and cedar. You hear music, a slow, lilting tune played on a harp, and a voice, low, gentle, telling a story. It's an old tale, about a prince who had no crown, and a mountain that whispered secrets to those who slept on its stones. You don't remember hearing this story before, but somehow you know how it ends. The prince never found the crown, but he did find a place where the wind remembered his name. And in that place, he slept and dreamed. This peace, let your limbs be heavy now. Let your thoughts fall like petals. Let your heart slow and feel how deeply it is held by the castle that breathes. You don't need to do anything. Even dreaming can wait. This stillness is enough. This presence is enough. You are enough. If the castle could speak, it would not ask you for your story. It would simply say, "Rest, wanderer. You are home." And in that moment, you know it's true. You are home. In the hush of stone, in the cradle of ancient wind, in the warmth of your own breath. So quiet now. So still, even the breeze seems to have slowed, as if it too is wrapped in slumber. You're floating deeper into the hush of the story, where time is not measured by clocks, but by the gentle exhale of stone and the soft sighs of sleeping memories. You've traveled far through, yet you are still exactly where you need to be. No rush, no destination, only this moment, only this peace. Let us go, now, to a place few ever see, a room tucked behind the western wall. So small, you might mistake it for nothing at all. But within it, the air holds a sacred stillness. This is the room of listening. There are no windows here, no tapestries, no fire, only silence, pure, so that even your breath seems to echo like music. And in that silence lies a secret. The walls in this room are old, older than the rest of the castle. Their stones are warm to the touch, as though they've stored centuries of sun in their skin. When the wind moves through this room, it does not whistle, it does not moan, it hums, soft hum, a low. Feel it that sits just below the edge of hearing. You don't so much hear it as in the hollow of your chest. Like a lullaby, your bones, remember? Long ago, this was where the wind readers came to rest. After long days listening to stories carried by air, after long nights tracing whispers in the stone, they would come here, is in the silence, to listen to nothing. Because sometimes it's that the truest messages are found. You sit now on the stone cushion at the center of the room. The quiet wraps around you like velvet. No need to think, no need to name. Just be. Let the silence smooth the edges of your thoughts. Let the hush sweep softly through your mind, like a hand brushing grains of sand from a windowsill. What remains is the part of you that has always been still, always quiet, the part that knows how to rest. Time passes here, but you don't notice. The wind rises once again somewhere far in the castle. You hear it threading through the staircases, spiraling down into this small chamber, and when it arrives, it brings with it a new story. This one comes from long before the lords and ladies, before parchment and quill, before even the shaping of the stone. It is a memory of breath itself, of the first time the wind spoke, not with words, but with intention. It did not say, "Come." It did not say, "Stay." It only reached out, a gentle caress on a leaf, a swirl of dust in the sunlight, a single ripple across a sleeping lake. And the world listened. The trees bent their branches. The rivers hushed their currents. The mountains paused their stillness. And in that quiet, the breath of the wind became the first story. It had no name, but it was remembered because everything that listened carried it forward through bark and stone and tide, until one day it reached this castle and nestled in its walls. And now, here you are, listening. The story has found you. It asks nothing. It wants nothing. It simply offers itself. And in return, you offer your stillness. This is how the wind travels, not with force, but with gentleness. From silence to silence, from listener to listener, from breath to breath. Let yourself rest even deeper now. You've listened long. You've wandered far. Now is the time to soften. Let your body grow heavier. Let your thoughts become mist. Let your breath become the wind moving through a quiet room in a sleeping castle. The stones are breathing with you. The story is holding you. The night is cradling you. You are not alone. Not here. Not ever. Even the wind with all its wandering returns to rest. And so, may you, so gentle now. You're doing nothing. And that is exactly what you need. No effort. No thought. Only breath and stillness. The castle holds you like a soft exhale, tucked into its quiet lungs of stone and memory. You are part of it now, no longer just a visitor, but a whisper in its walls, a sigh beneath its rafters. And the wind knows you. It recognizes the shape of your stillness. Let's return now to a place of warmth, the old hearth room. You remember the path, down winding stairs, past thick oak doors, into the heart of Thorneville, where fire still lives. Here, the walls are lined with wood-beam shelves, stacked with old maps and jars of dried herbs. The air smells faintly of time and old paper, and always, there is the crackle of the fire. Its golden light flickers like sleepy eyes. Its warmth kisses your cheeks as you settle into a high-backed chair, worn smooth by centuries of dreamers. A thick woolen blanket is folded nearby. You lift it over your lap. It smells of lavender and old stories. You lean back, letting the firelight lull you, and from somewhere within the flames, the castle remembers again. This story begins with a journal, leather-bound, tied with twine, its pages yellowed by time, but still humming with quiet energy. It belonged to a caretaker, not of people, not of garden, but of sounds. She called herself the archivist of breath. Every morning, she would rise before dawn and walk the castle halls barefoot, not to clean, not to repair, but to listen. She mapped where the wind moved. She marked which corridors sighed, which doors hummed, which staircases echoed like oceans. She believed the castle was alive, and that each day it told a slightly different story through the breath of its walls. And in her journal, she wrote it all down. One of her entries reads, "Today, the wind told a story through the west corridor. It was low and slow, like mourning, a memory of someone who once waited by the window, for someone who never returned." Another says, "Heard laughter again, in the south hall, faint like children playing behind the walls. Not a haunting, a happiness that clings to the stone." She did not fear these sounds. She cherished them, because to her, every breath was proof that nothing beautiful is ever truly lost. You imagine her now, moving through the castle at dawn, wrapped in a shawl, her lantern casting golden rings on the walls, stopping now and then, just to listen, and sometimes to hum along. She did not try to change the wind. She simply made space for it, as you are doing now. And maybe you're realizing something that sleep is not something we chase. It's something we allow. Like the wind, it doesn't arrive because we demand it, but because we make space for it. Space in the breath, space in the mind, space in the quiet corners of our hearts. So now, let everything soften even more. Let your breath be like a page, turning. Let your thoughts become faint footprints that fade behind you as you walk. You are not chasing rest. You're simply letting it find you. The castle hears your stillness. The fire sees your quiet. And so, another memory stirs. A night of stars, thousands of them scattered above the tower spires. The wind was wild then, not sharp or cruel, but full of longing. And from the highest turret, a boy stood watch. Not a knight, not a prince, just a boy who couldn't sleep. He spoke into the wind that night, not knowing it could hear. He asked, "Will I ever matter?" He whispered, "Am I real?" He wondered, "Is someone listening?" And the castle, ancient and kind, responded not with words, but with a breath that circled him, warm, steady, and full of hush. And from that night on, he never feared the wind again. You feel that now, don't you? That quiet assurance, the hush that doesn't answer with facts, but with presence. A wind that says, "You are here, you are heard, you are enough." And it is in that knowing that sleep begins to bloom. So let go even more. Let your hands grow heavy. Let your thoughts grow slow. Let your breath become the only thing you follow now. Out, like the wind through ancient stone. The fire beside you is low now, embers glowing red like sleepy eyes. The journal rests in your lap, and the words no longer need to be read because you feel them now in your bones. You are part of the breath. You are part of the hush, and the hush is holding you. Sleep now. Sleep deeply. The castle will remember for you. You need only rest. You're still here, and so is the castle. Quiet, patient, listening. It asks for nothing, not even your attention, only your presence, and that is more than enough. So just breathe, softly, easily. Let your breath blend with the air around you until it becomes the wind itself. Until you become the wind, the night has grown deeper, the stars brighter, the hush a thorn a veil. Deeper still. It is the kind of quiet that doesn't press, but surrounds. The kind that invites you to loosen, to let go, to rest. And so, another story rises, not from memory, but from beneath it. This one is older, woven into the foundation of the keep. The story of the first breath. Not the first stone, not the first lord, but the very first moment the castle exhaled. It began as little more than an accident, a corridor built to narrow, a tower stair that coiled too tightly, a forgotten vent left open to the sea. And one night, as a storm gathered on the cliffs, the wind slipped in through that tiny vent. It traveled down the spiral stair, curled around the curve of the wall, passed through a narrow arch, and emerged with a sound, not a howl, not a scream, but a breath. Hoo-hoo, soft, low, as if the castle had just woken. And those who heard it, they were afraid at first. They whispered of ghosts, of curses, of spirits caught in stone. But others, quieter souls, said it was a greeting, a sign that the castle was listening, and that it had learned how to speak. From then on, they built the halls differently. They designed the whispers. Curved walls, high ceilings, secret hollows between the bricks. They didn't try to silence the breath. They made room for it. And slowly, the castle began to tell stories. Through the wind, through the hush. And those stories have never stopped. Even now, as you lie still, wrapped in blankets of breath and hush, the castle is speaking, not with words, but with rhythm, with warmth, with presence, and it is saying, "Rest now, wanderer of quiet places. You have walked enough. You have listened enough. Let your breath be mine." You feel your body soften, your jaw, your eyes, your shoulders sinking deeper, heavier, like a stone placed gently into soft sand, and the wind moves through you again. A lullaby that's older than language. You don't need to understand it. You only need to feel it. And you do. You feel the stillness of towers, the patience of old walls, the wisdom of forgotten stairwells, and they're all singing you to sleep. The castle knows what sleep is. It has hosted it for centuries. It has held the weight of sleeping kings, of dozing servants, of dreaming children. It knows how to cradle you, without asking, without questioning, just gently, completely. You are safe here. So safe. Outside, a breeze stirs in the ivy. It tickles the stones and slips through the tiny gaps in the shuttered windows. It doesn't ask to be noticed, but it carries something. A name, a hope, a fragment of a dream that once belonged to someone like you. The wind remembers it, and now So do you. Perhaps it's the dream of a quiet life, a cottage and a garden, the sound of morning birds and warm bread at dusk. Or perhaps it's something simpler, just a wish to be still and held. Whatever it is, let it live in you now. Let it settle inside your chest, where your breath moves softly in and out, where your sleep is just beginning to bloom. You are safe to want simple things. You are safe to rest. So deeper now, even deeper. Let go of the day, of the doing, of the needing. Let the hush take your weight. Let the sigh of the castle wrap around your thoughts. There is no need to think anymore, only to drift. You are part of the stone now, part of the breath, part of the story the wind keeps telling, even when no one's awake to hear it. Even quieter now. Can you feel that? The way your thoughts have faded into stillness, the way your breath has become soft and slow. You are weightless now, floating gently on the hush of something older than memory, older than time. The castle feels you, not just your breath, but your calm, and it sighs in return, a deep, ancient breath that moves through the floor beneath you, the walls around you, the stones that sleep just beneath your skin. There is nothing left to do, and still, the story continues, because stories don't end when you fall asleep. Let your stream with you. Let's follow it a little farther. We leave the hearthroom behind now, the fire glowing faint and gold, and we walk down a hall lined with candle sconces, each flickering flame dancing slowly, casting lazy shadows on tapestries that sway slightly as if exhaling with us. The air here is still, but alive. You pass through a tall archway made of pale, weathered stone, and beyond it is the Chamber of Echoes. It's not what it sounds like. There is no shouting, no repetition. The echoes here are quiet, careful, sacred. It is a round chamber, carved perfectly to catch sound. Even the softest breath bounces once, twice, then disappears. Not loud, but like ripples in a still pond. At the center of the room is a shallow bowl carved into the floor, a pool of clear water, always still, always listening. They say it was used by the wind readers, not to see visions, but to hear dreams. Not their own dreams, but those the castle held on behalf of others. Sit there now, at the edge of the water. Let your reflection appear, soft and flickering in the dim candlelight. You don't need to look too closely. You already know what's in your heart, but perhaps you'd like to listen. Lean forward, just a little. Let the hush settle around your shoulders. The air holds something tonight, a dream that was left here long, long ago. And because you've been so gentle, so quiet, it begins to speak. It's a dream of a child, asleep in a room high above the cliff edge. Her window is cracked open, letting in the sea air. She's holding a feather in one hand, a candle in the other, and as she breathes, the flame does not flicker, not once, because she is so still, so deep in dreaming that even the air around her respects her silence. She dreams of birds, of wind beneath her body, of gliding, and in that dream, she feels no fear, only freedom, the kind that comes from letting go of what keeps you grounded. The vision fades from the water, but the feeling lingers. You may not be flying, but you are floating, the same way she did, cradled not by wings, but by hush and breath and the soft architecture of sleep. It's time to let go even more now. You've listened so well. You've been so still, and the castle is grateful. The wind moves through again. This time, a bit slower, a bit fuller. It curls around your shoulders, caressing your neck, your arms, your legs, not to carry you away, but to hold you here, in this weightless place, this dream between dreams, where you no longer need to remember who you are or where you're going, because here you already are. The echoes fade, and the water still. The dream rests again, deep in the pool, waiting for another night. another listener. And you rise, not to leave, but to follow the breath deeper into the castle's sleeping heart. You may notice something now, that the wind no longer feels outside of you. It's inside, in your chest, in your thoughts, in the rhythm of your slow, steady breath. You are not just part of the story, you are part of the voice. And it speaks through stillness, through hush, through the way your breath rises and falls, like waves, brushing the cliffside beneath the sleeping towers. So rest. You are being remembered. You are being carried. The castle is not just stone. It is sanctuary. It has room for your stillness, room for your forgetting. You are healing your dreams. Let go now. Fully, deeply. The breath is all you need. The hush is all there is. You're drifting now, farther than before, slipping gently between this moment and something quieter still. There's no need to guide yourself. The castle guides you. Its walls know the way. Its breath carries you, like a small boat gliding across a moonlit lake. No resistance, only the gentle pull of hush and the wind. It is so faint now, not gone, just softer, like a voice whispering inside a dream. This part of the castle is rarely touched, a place where stories are kept, not in books, but in air. Welcome to the Hall of Unfinished Whispers. You walk slowly now. Your footsteps are nearly silent on the smooth stone floor. This room stretches long, so long it seems to disappear into shadow. But it doesn't feel empty. It feels held, as if the very silence is cupping you in warm hands. All around, the walls are etched with winding marks. Not language, not letters, just grooves in the stone, like fingerprints, like breath marks on a window pane. These are the imprints of voices that never needed to speak aloud. There's a bench carved from old ash wood. Its edges smooth, its surface worn. You sit, your body knows what to do. The hush wraps you again. Your shoulders lower, your jaw your spine softens. No effort now, not even the effort of listening. Because here, you don't listen with your ears, you listen with your stillness. And in that stillness, another story begins. This one is different. It has no character, no hero, no beginning. It is the whisper of a moment lost in time, but not forgotten. A woman once stood here, her hands resting gently on her belly. She was quiet, waiting, feeling the breath of two heartbeats inside her, her own and another. She didn't speak, didn't need to. The castle knew, and it sighed around her, a deep, full exhale, not of words, but of welcome. The child was never born here. She left before the snow fell, but the memory stayed, not in the mind of the castle, but in its air. And when you breathe it in, you can feel her presence, her hope, like the echo of a lullaby hummed only once and never forgotten. You remain there, quiet with the walls, not adding to the whispers, but honoring them. They are safe here, and so are you. Let yourself lie down now. You don't need to sit upright. Not anymore. There's a soft mat beside the bench, mossy, woven, welcoming. You settle onto it, your head cradled by something that smells faintly of cedar and sleep. The hush deepens, and time, like the wind. There's a bench carved from old ash wood. Its edges smooth, its surface worn. You sit, your body knows what to do. The hush wraps you again, your shoulders lower, your jaw your spine softens. No effort now, not even the effort of listening. Because here, you don't listen with your ears, you listen with your stillness. And in that stillness, another story begins. This one is different. It has no character, no hero, no beginning. It is the whisper of a moment lost in time, but not forgotten. A woman once stood here, her hands resting gently on her belly. She was quiet, waiting, feeling the breath of two heartbeats inside her, her own and another. She didn't speak, didn't need to. The castle knew, and it sighed around her, a deep, full exhale, not of words, but of welcome. The child was never born here. She left before the snow fell, but the memory stayed, not in the mind of the castle, but in its air. And when you breathe it in, you can feel her presence, her hope, like the echo of a lullaby hummed only once and never forgotten. You remain there, quiet with the walls, not adding to the whispers, but honoring them. They are safe here, and so are you. Let yourself lie down now. You don't need to sit upright. Not anymore. There's a soft mat beside the bench, mossy, woven, welcoming. You settle onto it, your head cradled by something that smells faintly of cedar and sleep. The hush deepens, and time, like the wind, you are resting, beautifully still. So still, the night itself has begun to hush around you. Even the air seems to move more gently, as if afraid to wake you. Let it move softly across your skin, just like it moves through the castle's ancient bones. A breath here, a breath there, all slow, all safe. Let it be easy now. Nothing to do, nothing to fix, nothing to follow, only the hum of peace. Like a note held long after the song is ended. The story hasn't ended. Not yet, but it has slowed. Like a lantern dimming, like footsteps quieting in deep velvet halls. And so, the castle shows you something new. Not a memory, not a dream, but a place you have not seen yet. A secret place. Through a hidden passage tucked behind the chapel of stilled bells, there is a door made of dark wood, twisted with iron vines. It is nearly invisible in the stone, but the wind knows it. It brushes past your cheek, then down the corridor, and pauses before the door. You follow your steps, quiet as thought. When you touch the handle, it feels warm, like someone just left it. And when you open it, you find the breathing room. It's not large, not grand, but it is alive. A circular space, bare walls, a domed ceiling with a small hole at the top, where moonlight pours in like milk. The wind circles through this room endlessly. In from the east, out to the west, a perfect spiral, and it breathes. Not metaphorically, not poetically, truly. The room expands and contracts, stone moving like a chest, not enough to shake the ground, but just enough to feel it if you lie still. So lie down now. Right here, in the center, there's a nest of woven reeds and moss. Soft and cradling, you sink in. The breath surrounds you, and then you feel it. Inhale, a barely there rise beneath your back. Exhale, a subtle lowering. The castle is holding you, breathing with you. This chamber was built not for sleeping, but for surrender. For those who carried too many voices in their minds, too many worries in their chests. They would come here alone and let the room breathe for them. They'd match their inhale to its slow rise, their exhale to its soft fall. And slowly, all the noise would dissolve. All the weight would lift until only breath remained, simple, gentle. Enough? You are there now. Let it happen. Inhale. Feel your chest rise with the breath of the walls. Exhale. Let your whole body sink deeper than before. No tension, no effort, just rhythm, just breath, just this quiet bond between you and something ancient and kind. You don't need to remember who built this place or why. The castle remembers, and it welcomes you as one of its own. The breath slows now, even more, and your body matches it perfectly. You have become part of the story, not a reader, not a listener, but a line of it, a hush written in the language of air. Can you hear it? Not a sound, but a feeling. The way your limbs tingle with stillness, the way your chest loosens with calm. This is how the castle loves you. It does not ask, it does not speak, it only breathes alongside you and never stops. Even as you drift, even as your thoughts become mist, The breath continues, rising gently beneath you, like a tide that never crashes, falling slowly, like stars slipping beneath the sea, each cycle carrying you further into peace. And the walls, they do not speak aloud, but they hold every sigh you've released tonight, every soft thought, every letting go. This stone does not forget, not when it has breathed with you, not when it has held you this gently. So close your eyes now. If they're not already closed, let the hush expand to fill your whole self. You are not alone. You never were. Even in the silence, you were being heard. Even in the stillness, you were being held. Let sleep find you now. It already knows the way. The breath slows again. Your breath slows with it. And the castle sighs, not to end the story, but to remind you, you are safe. You are still. You are home. Still with me, gentle dreamer. Good. You don't have to move. You don't have to speak. The story moves for you now. The castle speaks through your breath. Each inhale is a doorway opening. Each exhale, a curtain drawing closed. You're floating somewhere between one heartbeat and the next, exactly where you are meant to be. And the castle, the living, breathing stone, has one more story to offer you tonight. Not a tale of the past, not entirely, but something softer, more sacred. The story of return. Let's go there. Gently, let's walk the halls once more. Not on tired feet, but on the hush of breath. The stones beneath you don't echo now. They welcome you silently. They remember your rhythm. Through corridors lit by moonlight, spilling through narrow slits in the wall, you glide, not hurried, not watched, just known. And the wind, your old companion, meets you again. It brushes the edge of your sleeve, nudges you like an old friend would, and leads you down a staircase of polished steps. Where are we going? Somewhere older, quieter still, beneath the castle now. Deeper than cellars, older than archives, a place called the Heartstone Chamber. Few ever entered it, and few are still remembered. But the castle remembers. And because you've been so still, so gentle, so open, it opens this place for you. The steps end at a narrow arch. You pass beneath it. Inside is a domed chamber, lit only by a shaft of silver-blue moonlight that falls from a crack in the ceiling far above. The walls curve inward, hugging the space like a womb, and in the very center, a single stone rests on a raised dais. It's not carved, not marked, just smooth and warm. The stone breathes, not like the room above, not with movement, but with memory. This is the first stone of the castle, the one all others were laid upon. The heart, the breath, the beginning. You approach it, you feel it, long before you touch it. A soft hum in your chest that resonates with your deepest stillness. Sit, if you wish, or lie beside it. Let your breath match its hum. There's no rhythm to follow, only a feeling. It's gentle, soft, a lullaby that doesn't need words. And in that hum, the story continues. Once, long ago, a builder stood here. He was not a nobleman, not a lord, just a mason, with tired hands and a hopeful heart. He placed this stone with care, not to build a fortress, but to build a home, one that would hold not just bodies, but breath and warmth and stillness. He whispered to the stone before he laid it. May you remember the quiet moments. May you hold those who listen. May you breathe when we cannot. And then he began to build, stone after stone, year after year. And the breath he placed in that first stone, it never left. Now it is here with you. You, the listener, the wanderer, the dreamer. And as you lie beside it, or rest your fingers upon it, you feel something deep within you let go. Not dramatically, not all at once, but gently, like mist rising from the surface of still water. And that, letting go, it is the doorway to true sleep. Let yourself drift now. Not away, but inward. Let your thoughts fade, like echoes in the chamber walls. Let your breath be carried by the castle's own rhythm. You are not falling asleep. You are returning to rest, returning to a state you have always known. The same way the wind returns through the same old corridors, year after year. The same way the sea returns to kiss the cliffside. The same way dreams return to those who wait for them in stillness. The castle's proud of you. It does not speak in words, but in the warmth that surrounds you, in the hush that now fills your limbs. It knows you've given it something precious tonight. Your stillness, your listening, your breath, and in return, it gives you what it has held for centuries. Peace, softness, the kind of quiet that holds you even in your sleep.